pleasure to introduce. Well, I'll start again. Good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. It's a Friday night. We're going to get trained by the best of the best. So get ready for a fantastic session together. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, none other than the founding director for RIMAN for UK and Europe, my good friend, my mentor, Mr. Asad Ali.
Thank you, Nick. Let me just quickly make sure my screen is being shared. Perfect. So, Nick, thank you very much for a great introduction. I just want to welcome everyone on this call. Let me just make sure I have the controls I need. Perfect. That's fine. So, again, one of my childhood best friends, Albert Einstein, he said, the things you write, you don't have to remember. So, again, if you do have pen and papers, make sure you take notes because, again, these are the trainings which are not just for yourself, but you as a leader carry this responsibility to ensure that you take this information, again, learn it, and then start teaching others. As I said the other day, that once taught is twice learned. And before we get started, again, as you can see, I'm in my car. That also tells you that this business almost has no boundaries. You can do this business, again, from wherever you are. A lot of people say it's a home-based business. No, it can be whatever you are based business. All you need is, internet connection, a laptop and a mobile phone, and you can build this business. And today, the topic we are going to cover is a very important topic because, being in this industry for over a decade now, we have built our businesses from events to events to events to events. And it's not just having an event, but also having an effective event. Because I believe there is no right or wrong way of doing things, it's what works. Okay. So it's about what will make your presentation, your event, physical event effective. Again, so what is a business overview meeting, or we call it BOM? What is it? So there are different ways of you showcasing your business opportunity, RIMAN business opportunity. You can showcase this opportunity sitting with someone in a coffee shop one-on-one. That is, again, a presentation. You can do a presentation, as a K-pop party. You invite, 10, 20 of your friends. You do a little gathering in your house. A presentation happens, a demonstration happens where people see, touch, feel the product. And, that's, again, you can call it a private sort of business reception or a K-pop party. Then we also have bigger events, which we call or physical events, where different teams, different leaders, they get together, invite people, and where we showcase the opportunity, in a business overview meeting. It can be in a hotel, it can be in a community center. Well, that's what we are going to cover today, because it is important that you understand it's not just the presenter standing at the front of the room. It's not just his job or her job to ensure that we have an effective business overview meeting. It's you and I. It's everyone's responsibility to ensure that we are not just attendees there. We are participants. Again, they're two different things. Being an attendee in an event, you just show up, you sit there, you don't know your role, and you walk away. That's an attendee, someone who attended that event. But then there is something called being a participant. You know your role when you walk in. You know that this is your business overview meeting. You have a guest or you don't have a guest. That is irrelevant. Write this down again. You have a guest or you don't have a guest. That is irrelevant. We together having this business who is being, I just want to make sure it says, okay. It said that my internet was unstable. So it is important that you remember, even when you don't have a guest, someone else has a guest and they are their first time. So your role still does not change. Being an ambassador of the company, being the partner in the company, being a leader in the company, your role still exists, that you participate in that event. So what is our role? How you can make a business overview meeting effective one? That is what we are going to cover today. Okay. But before we get into that, I just want to say a few things that, as I said earlier, events to events to event is what we build our business upon. One-on-ones are great. Private business receptions or K-pop parties are great. They are the, building blocks of our business. But then what solidifies your business is these events, these training events, because people need to find a reason which is bigger than you to stay in the business. I want you to understand, when someone walks into a presentation, their excitement level is up there. The next day it drops, the following day it drops, and that's just a human nature. So it is important that you understand right now. Imagine you're trying to build a wall and you're putting bricks upon bricks upon bricks, but if there is no cement, that is not going to last longer. So the cement in our business model is these events, training events, the physical events where people come in, they meet the leaders, they meet other people, they see the social proof. Without that, you will be building the business, which will look like you're building a business, but you will see the churn in your business will be very high, because people need to find a reason which is bigger than you and which can't be just about you. Yes, they are your friends, but I want you to understand they're your friends. They respect you as a friend, but not as a successful RIMAN business owner yet, unless, of course, you have gained that, respect, being on that rank in the business model. So that's very important. So let's get into this business overview meeting. But the reason I said what I said is I just want to have, the model of this entire last few minutes is this: when there is an event, nothing else is more important. Your private business reception is not important. Your one-on-one is not important. What is important is event. Whenever you have a physical event, nothing else matters. You need to show up. You need to dress up. You need to show up. And you're doing this not just for yourself, but also for your team. Not just for your team, but also, us as a group, as a community. So it's very important that you understand this part, that you don't just show to the event when you have a guest. A lot of people don't come to events thinking, today I don't have a guest. That is the exact reason why you need to be in the event, so you can speak to your leader, figure it out why you don't have a guest and why others do. When you have a great week, let's say you had a lot of guests, you did a lot of PBRs, which is K-pop parties, you had a lot of one-on-ones, and now events need you. So you can go and share your story with others, the excitement with others. But when you didn't have a great week, because again, in business, this happens, when you did not have a great week, now you need the event. So you need to show up, you need to be there and figure that out, what could have been done better. Or sometimes it's just that emotional support which is needed. So let's get into the training. First of all, the question is, what is a purpose of a BOM? Why are we investing our time, money into this business overview or opportunity meetings? You need to have the goal cleared in your mind. Let's say if I'm a Apple store salesman, anyone who walks in, I know in my mind they are here to buy something. They're here to explore, of course, and buy something. So in my mind, I'm looking for what? When I'm in a BOM, partners or customers. So whoever walked in, either they will become my partners, the distributors, they will join my team, they will start building RIMAN business with me, or they will become customers of our incredible products. So 3 questions normally people have in their mind when they are sitting in a business overview or opportunity meeting. First of all, is this real? But when people see different people from different walks of life, from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different religious background, when people see different people, that social proof gives them an answer that, it is almost impossible to convince all these people from different backgrounds, different faith groups, to sit together, put nice clothes and just clap. Does that make sense? So is this real? That gets answered when they see social proof. Now, the second question most people are asking, okay, you know what? Shrimi did an amazing presentation that, okay, you know what? Compensation plan works. But the question is, can I do this? Yes, this is working for other people, but can I do this? So what answers that question is testimonials. So when you are requested to come on the stage and give testimonial, the other event on Wednesday, Hina did a great job, Fiona did a great job, explaining their story to people, sharing their story with people. But again, it is important that those stories are not about you alone, but there is someone who's going to relate with you. So your story has to be so relatable that when you're saying things, you need to think in your mind that the people sitting there, someone should say, me too. You know what? I'm a single mom. There is another single mom sitting in the room relating with you. Oh, you know what? I have kids and I'm helping, I'm building this business with my husband. So, another person sitting or a couple sitting together thinking, oh, you know what? We can build this business together. So your testimonies, they have to be relatable. And then you edify the system, which means again, you cannot carry people on your shoulders. It cannot be about you. You need to ensure as a leader that every few months you have new people you're working with, and the older people, they are independent now and they're using the same system. And what is the system? Liju always says, save yourself serious time, energy, and money. And that is true. You want to use this system. I understand you're not paying for the event in Crown Plaza, but your leaders are. So someone is investing time, someone is investing money. You want to use this system to build your business. The best thing to do, when I started this industry in 2012, I still remember the best part of my training was my mentor said, you can be average at presentation. You can be average at training. You can be average at one-on-ones. You can be average on everything. If you just become good in one thing, you will be successful. And that was promoting events. He said, if you just get good at promoting event, be someone who's sitting with people and say, hey, listen to the expert. You will see success. And literally, that was my first few months in the business, which again, once I started producing results because of using the system, then confidence came with producing results. Then I became better in almost everything, presentation, training. I remember when I did my first testimonial, I remember my legs were shaking because it was something I've never done before. But then when I started producing results, I started making money, I started changing lives, I gained that confidence, and then it was natural to me, if that makes sense. The third thing people are asking, what's in it for me? What can I achieve from this business model? So again, it can be financial freedom, it can be time freedom, it can be something, a cause, or they just need something to work for their skin. It can be anything. So these are the things people are looking for. Now, let's dissect this. How many portions can you divide a BOM into? So these are the 4 steps or 4 stages of a BOM. There is a meeting before the meeting. So 15 minutes before the actual event starts is very important. And last 2 weeks, I've seen a lot of people being on their phones or doing their own thing. I want you to understand the reason you want to invite your people at 7 o'clock or not 7:30, or let's say 7:15 and not 7:30, is because you want to use the first 15 minutes to build FORM, which is what? Form. I'll get into that in a second. But this meeting before meeting is 15 minutes before the actual meeting. The second step is the presentation, where the testimonials happen and the meeting itself. Then after that, you have meeting after meeting. The 15 minutes after the presentation is done is also very, very, very important. And then you have the most important stuff, which is confirming the next meeting. Again, I want you to understand this business is built on events. Just become good at promoting events, you will start seeing success because that is the system. Okay, so confirm the next meeting within 24 hours. You want to meet someone and then help them, make their list, set up their 24-hour game plan, and invite their people, set up their K-pop party, and do the whole thing again, whole week. Sunday, you plug people again. So that's the system. So meeting before the meeting, meeting itself, meeting after the meeting, confirm the next meeting. Now, meeting before, write this down, meeting before the meeting and meeting after the meeting is more important than a meeting itself. Whoever is presenting, Nick does a great job. Shrimi does a great job. Liju did the presentation the other day. Amazing presenters. But trust me, if you don't do what you're supposed to do before the meeting and after the meeting, it was a useless activity. And I want to be direct with you because I don't want to tell you what you want to hear. I need to tell you what you should hear so you can build this business in the most effective manner possible. Because as being a human, being a human being, if you're not getting results, the emotional attachment or the excitement can only keep you in the business for a period of time. Okay, let's get into now the meeting before the meeting. So again, very important that you want to arrive early and receive your guests. If you told them 7:15, be there at 7. So you can receive them. You can make your guests feel, not tell them, make them feel that this thing you invited them for is very important for you. So you arrive early, you receive your guests. Excitement is the key. Excitement breeds excitement. So the smile on your face, because sometimes people are excited, but they just forget to tell their faces, okay? So it's important that your face knows that you're excited. So be excited before you get to the BOM, because your energy is important, not just for your own guests, but other people also have their guests around. And you want to make sure you play your part to make other people's guests feel that everyone in this environment is excited. So greet your guests with smiling face, as I said earlier, and introduce, that's very important, introduce your guests to the people they can relate to and your mentor before the event. It's important. If you see me, and let's say I'm busy, you can always request, or let's say you saw Liju, you saw Shrimi, you saw Shruti, anyone you're working with. If you see them and your guest has arrived, try to take a minute and just do a quick introduction. And try to introduce them to other people. You already know the background of your guest, okay? Let's say if I know Nick is a school teacher, okay? And imagine I'm someone new in Nick's team. And now I have guests coming. And one of my guests is a school teacher. I will do whatever it takes to ensure I let this guest of mine know, introduce both of them. Hey, you know what? This is my mentor, again, based on whoever you're introducing. And he's a school teacher just like yourself. And then introduce Nick back again. This is my friend. He came today the first time. He's also a school teacher. Nothing more, nothing less. You want to build that relationship, the rapport, before the event starts. So he knows there are other people from his backgrounds or her backgrounds or something they can relate with someone is in that room, okay? But do not talk business yet. This is very important. You don't want people to prejudge anything. You don't want people to start Googling things, because the reality is Google, you can find what you look for. There is the flat earth society where people believe earth is flat. Again, the reality is you don't want people to start judging the business. We want them to see the business, get the full information, then make a decision. And then another important thing in those 15 minutes, build the excitement for the speaker. And that speaker can be any of the presenters. The person you're working with, the person you think you'll get hold of after the event, make sure you build that excitement. So what is form? F, family. O, occupation. Because it's important that you speak to those guests and build that rapport, okay? And then take them to the meeting. That's the last M, okay? Now, another important part, why that energy is important. Positive energy attracts people. I want you to understand, ask yourself, how many of you honestly love your jobs? How many of you go to your workplace and you say, wow, man, today it was just an amazing day at work? It barely happens. So imagine people, Wednesday, they had long day, 9 to 5, probably not the best day at work. And now when they suddenly see people in, good environment, positive energy around, they just feel attracted or attracted towards it. Same thing on Sunday. Whatever the events are. And most people will forget. Let me ask you a question. I did a training the other day on compensation plan. How many of you honestly remember even half the information I shared? I promise you, most of you don't. It's not, people will forget 90% of the information, but they will remember how they felt in that event. And trust me, if they had good experience, next week they will bring their guests. They will bring someone they love, they respect, they are close with. They will feel comfortable bringing those individuals into this environment because they had a good experience. So what's our job? Our job is we create that winning environment. Now let's speak about the event as well, because you can be an organizer later. You might call me or lead you, and you say, Asad, Liju, or Nick, or it can be any leader you're working with, that I have a group of 50 people. I want to do a small event, because again, it's not just about bringing people to events. Sometimes you take events to people as well. Let's say you have a team growing in Luton, or let's say Nottingham. It can be anywhere. And you say, look, can we do a smaller event there? I have around 30, 40, 50 people who are active. We will do an event there, but you are the host, if that makes sense. So it's important that you know, how do you create that winning environment inside that room? First of all, you want to make sure it's a proper setup. Theater style, you have your screen, you have your laptop running, a nice upbeat music there, right room size. You don't want to have 10 people in a room of 50 people. You don't want to have 50 people in a room of 10 people. So right room size, chairs close together, have water. Even if you're doing a K-pop party at home, it can't be something which is not duplicatable. I understand you want to, cook meal, this and that, but the reality is that's an extra pressure for someone who's sitting in your house and thinking, okay, so if I want to do K-pop party later, I need to invest all this money into food and this and that. No, keep everything duplicatable. You can have basic drinks, tea, coffee, whatever, water, that's it. Nothing more than that. Then cool room temperature, that helps as well. You don't want people being sleepy. Entrance always at the back, because this is another important point. You never want to leave your seat when the meeting has started, because you told, when you invited that guest of yours, hey, this is very important. You need to meet this speaker. You edified the event, you edified the speaker, and now someone is on the front. Your mentor, you said, I have a lot of respect for, and now you leave. Okay, so that sends a wrong message. So leaders always at the front. You lead from the front, and entrance at the back. So worst case, if someone is coming late and stuff, it's not disturbing the rest of the meeting. Okay, so this is what you need to do. Have the right setup and before the meeting. Now, what happens during the meeting? Again, it's important that we start on time, but it is, again, only possible if all of you combine, show up on time, and invite your guests on time. And if you do that, we can start on time. But very soon, Lijo and I had this discussion last week as well. We want to start our events bang on time, even if there are 5 people in the room. We will start doing it. We were a bit more lenient because I know we are still in the beginning, start phase of this business. But again, it's easier to set the culture today than when we have 5,000 people in the room. So start on time, then we have someone to open. I think last event was open by Nick Reynolds. So he established some house rules. He told everyone, hey, what to do, what not to do. Again, edify the speaker, introduce the speaker, no phones. That's something, again, we will start mentioning in our opening as well, because we want to make sure people know it's an important closed room business overview meeting. And we have some set rules, and we want people to respect that, because it's not a private business reception. It's not a one-on-one where things are easy, but it's something people knew about. You send them those VIP invitations. So we want them to have that, feeling when they come in. Once the presentation starts, again, we'll have a one-page overview which will be available. The RIMAN marketing team is working on it, so you can present the business in one-on-one, technically on a piece of paper. But here in our presentation, whoever is presenting, because very soon, team will grow. And we want more presenters, more and more presenters. It won't be Shrimi doing all the presentations throughout. One day it will be you, and another day will be someone in your team. And we need to have more and more presenters available, because the reality is it's a duplication business. Imagine having, because anyone who develop leaders, even if that person is doing part-time RIMAN, 5 to 10 hours a week, will have more results than someone doing full-time but has no duplication in his team or her team, where there's no one who can do presentations. So it's not about how good you are, it's about how good people are in your team. And I want you to write this down again. Even if you don't have a guest, you want to be in every meeting so you can write every word down. How did Shrimi present the business? What were the terminologies used by her? How did Nick do the opening? I can be the next one. And when you feel you're ready, come to your leaders. Hey, I have 5 guests today. Can I be on the stage and open today's meeting? Because again, it is important. You write everything from those presentations, because it's not just for the guests, but also for you to learn. I promise you, some of you will not come to the room because you don't have guests. But I promise you, if I put you on stage and say, you need to do the presentation, you will not be able to present. I'm not saying you have to be as good as Shrimi because she has great experience. But again, every master started as a beginner. Every leader started as a beginner. So that's the important part. Have your pen and paper. Don't expect us or hotel to provide pen and paper. Have your notebook with you so your guest sitting next to you can see how serious you are about this business. And this is not about facts. Yes, RIMAN did 2 billion. We sold 45 million bottles. All those things are good. But I promise you, they are less effective than the stories people will hear. So it's more about those testimonials, not just about great results from the products, but also great results from the compensation plan. Have fun, smile, be excited, have that positive posture. And the less you say, the more it works. A testimonial, I'm going to get into that in a second, but cannot be longer than a minute. You want to say your name, you want to share your story, quick story, and then you want to edify back the RIMAN legacy system, because you don't want people to think it's about you or how good you are. No, it's about how good the system is, how good the school is. So anyone feels that if he can do it, I can do it. And again, whoever is presenting, you want to keep it super simple and finish the event on time. 30 minutes, we should be finished doing the presentation. Another 5 minutes, okay, a video and stuff. And then you close throughout the presentation. I'm going to do another training on presentation. I'm going to, skim this through. The next one, now this is important here. We call it SWAT team. It's not just the presenter on the front. To have a great event, it's all of us in that room as well. Be engaged and sit forward. Leg on legs, sitting back, not paying attention, it is sending the wrong message. Even if you don't have a guest, other people have guests. Everyone should be so engaged, sitting forward, taking notes, that it creates that environment. You know what? These people are excited and serious about what they're doing. Another thing I said, participant. When you attend, of course, you listen and you leave. But when you participate, you raise hands, you nod your head, you acknowledge. When a presenter asks the question, you need that energy in the room. How many times the leader, presenter says, if that makes sense, say I, and then one person is saying I. That shows to the rest of them who are there first time that it's normal not to answer. Now they're in a presentation. It's an environment they didn't really know about. But imagine if 80% or 70% of the room, which is the partners, if they are attentive, they are raising hands, they're nodding their heads when the questions are asked, that's what will give them the comfort that, you know what, everyone is attentive. I remember my first presentation. It was in the same room as last Wednesday in Crown Plaza, 2012. I remember that. I was just looking at the clock and waiting for the meeting to finish so I can run away. Literally, I went there so I can shut my friend down. I'm being honest with you. But when I saw around 15 people, there was more than, I don't think it was more than 15 people in that room. So when I saw all 15 of them taking notes, sitting forward, listening to the speaker, that every word coming out of his mouth is important, you know what? I don't even remember when my focus changed and I started paying attention. This is important. Laugh at jokes. I promise you, the presenter on the front is not a stand-up comedian. So if he has some jokes, here and there to, how shall I say, to create that fun environment within the presentation, sometimes it might be the same joke, but you have to, when you are participating in that event and you're listening to everything, you need to understand that you are part of that play. And I promise you, you would not even need to fake it once you're paying attention and once you know why this is important. Clapping, cheering. If someone gives a testimonial, Fiona did a great testimonial. We need to clap. You know, share that energy. Smiling, positive attitudes. Please, no mobile phones. And never get up from your seat. It's important, as I said, unless there is an emergency, which I understand. But try your best. You know, before or after. I remember we used to have a joke. Whoever used to open the presentation, we used to tell people, guys, next 30 minutes, it's a closed room, you know, business opportunity meeting or overview meeting. If you need to if you need to go to the bathroom, just hold your knees and squeeze. Again, this is a joke, but the reality is you want to make sure use the toilet before, take your important phone calls before, and let people know those 30-40 minutes you're not going to be available. And that you do anyways in your workplaces. If you're in a meeting, board meeting in your office or wherever you work, I promise you, you will not use your phone. You will not step out. You will not get up. So you want to pay the same attention, the same importance to this business. Don't treat this as a hobby. For those who are giving testimonials, please try to make it relatable with people. Share your background. Hey, I'm a single mom. Oh, I'm a mom of two. Oh, my husband and I both are building this. Whatever you think is relatable, that someone will raise their hands, or in their head and say, you know what, me too. Make them feel they're just like you or they know someone like you. And your job in a testimonial is not to give a training, no advices, no negative stories, just your story. Keep it simple. Thank the system. So what is a good testimonial? 13 seconds to a minute. This is my name. This is my background. This is why I started. That's why it's very important. So people in there are already thinking, why do I need to do this? So share your why. Someone might be able to relate with your why. Tell your current position. But again, right now, we haven't started the business. You don't have position. So that gets skipped. And then edify the leadership and RIMAN, the legacy system. Once the meeting finishes, have a very clear mindset. There are two questions in mind, which are, will this person, whoever came as a guest, will that person be my customer or a partner? Because that's why I invited them. They have finished the presentation. I want to go with this assumption that they will become my customer or they will become my partner, or they can give me a referral. So 3. So customer, partner, referral. You need to start sorting. And what is sorting? Imagine you have a deck of cards, okay? You pick up a card, you're looking for an ace. If the card you picked up is not an ace, how long will you spend on that card? You will move on to the next one. You do not want to convince people. You don't want to spend 1 hour. I remember when I went to my first presentation, the guy had 4 other guests, my friend. He had 4 other guests. All 4 of them were super negative. And he convinced them. He was sitting with them for an hour. And I'm thinking in my mind that this guy is not even coming towards me. I'm ready to get started. I want to get started. I'm ready. Sign me up. So sometimes you pay attention to the people who are not even interested, and you let that person who's interested go or feel in a way that, why is he spending more time? I have questions. Let me get started. So you want to do sorting, not selling. Okay? You want to do sorting. You want to sort. So that is important. Okay? And sorting is not just about, who's positive, who's negative, or who is thinking. No, whoever is ready to get started, you move them side. You saw Liju and I making circles on last Sunday. Those circles are very important. We have built our business. I had over 100,000 people in my organization, in my first company, and I built that entire business using those events and circles. After the event, every leader will have 5 to 10 people and doing those closings. Hey, what is the best thing you picked up? What did you like the most about RIMAN opportunity? Because I'm going with that positive question. No one will say anything negative. Okay, so have that posture and ask yes questions. When I say yes questions, hey, anything you ask, and when the answer is yes, you nod your head, the answer from that person is also going to be in a positive way. And sort through your guests, as I said earlier. Not everyone will be interested becoming your partner. Not everyone will be interested becoming your customer. So, but remember, everyone who came has something to give to you. Either they will become your partner, Either they will become your customer, or they will refer you to other people. Hey, do you know someone who can be good at this? If someone says, you know what, amazing, but not for me. Perfect, no problem. Thank you for being honest. But do you know someone who can be good at this? Sort through your guests. And then what do? After that, regardless they said yes or no to you, you want to edify and introduce to your experts. Sometimes change of face works. Okay. And if they're ready, you sign them up. I think by Sunday, Lijo and I spoke to the dev team. So I think by Sunday, we'll have the sign up page ready where you can start signing people up. We'll train you on that as well. But again, from Sunday onwards, we want to sign people up in the system. So everyone feels they're becoming, they're starting the business straight away. And this is $1 million tip. If you are not, listen to this carefully. If you're not following up, you're pre-recruiting for someone else. I'm repeating again. If you're not following up, you're pre-recruiting for someone else. What does that mean? That means if you invited me today, I came, I saw, I can't sign up, I left. You did not keep me in the loop. You didn't speak to me the next day, the following day, the following day. You do know RIMAN is going to explode here. Do you know why? First of all, it is an incredible opportunity with great products, with great story, and also it's something which is already done in other countries. Secondly, Liju and I, and then other leaders with us, trust me, we have a lot of experience. We have done this before. We have built, this is not the first time we are doing it. This is not even the second time we are building an organization. We know how to do this. We are professionals at this. So what's going to happen? You might not invite that person or not speak to that person for 5 more days, but day number 6, someone else will call them. This already happened. I will not mention names. Someone showed up on last Wednesday event and another friend of his was asking him, who invited you? That will happen as well. So first, the lesson from the second one is you want to invite everyone and not wait. Number 2, which is very important, anyone you invited to a presentation, you want to make sure you follow up with them. Next day, you give them a call. You meet with them again, set up a 24 hours game plan, give them a plan how they will become a senior manager so they know exactly what is their next step for them to achieve. Because the fortune is in following up. You might invite someone today, they might not be interested. You might invite that person second day, they might not be interested. Third day, someone followed me up for 6 months and I showed up and I signed up. So 3 lessons from here. First, when you call someone, they didn't show up, follow up. Number 2, if you invited someone, they're interested, they said, okay, let's do it. Don't forget about them next day, meet again. Because if you will not, second time, it's like a jar. You give to, mom brings that jar, to one of the kids and he tries and it's not opening. And then the second time what happens is, gives to another kid. He tries, then it's not opening. A third one just touched it and, it happens. Trust me, it's not the third one with, extra powers. What exactly happened is, first time, the second time, the power was there, the impact was there, but it was just not significant. It needed that compound effect. Third time it happened. So fortune is in follow up. And if you will not follow up, technically you did the pre-recruiting, the first impact on that jar part for someone else. Somebody else will sign them up. So it's important. Anyone till today, this is your task for tomorrow, Saturday. Anyone you have spoken to, anyone you have done the presentation for, anyone you have shared the opportunity with, call them tomorrow, invite them for Sunday event so you can solidify your business. Very important. And number 2, whenever there is an event, every Wednesday evening, every Sunday, don't do anything else. And bring everyone you spoke to. This is the system. You do presentation on Monday. You do presentation on Tuesday. You do presentation on Wednesday during the day. Wednesday evening, you bring them in and make them see the event. Thursday, you do presentation. Friday, you do presentations. Saturday, you do presentations. Sunday, training event. So this is your system. Do your presentations, bring people to the events. They say yes or no, you bring them to the event. If someone says, I'm not interested in your one-to-one, you say, perfect, no problem, thank you. But you know what? This Wednesday, we have one of my mentors, he's gonna be there. and I genuinely want you to meet him. You build that, excitement for that event so the person shows up. So again, today's training was mainly for you to understand the importance of events, be average at everything else, just become good at inviting people to events, you will get success. That is a guarantee. Last part, don't be attendee, be a participant. Raise your hand when you are, when a presenter is looking for that acknowledgement. I want you to understand, yes, Nick is, he's experienced, Shrimi's experienced, Liju's experienced, I'm experienced, but then very soon it will be someone who's not that experienced, it's their first time. Imagine they're looking for that acknowledgement and you don't give that back to them. So it's important. So I hope you have taken notes, try to, think this through and try to implement this on this coming Sunday event. So let's have a great event on this coming Sunday. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the next speaker. Again, I have a lot of respect for this gentleman. He's been a, great friend, a brother. Over a decade, we've known each other. We have worked together, built multiple, hundreds of thousands of organizations together. And he is one of the best, if not the best, trainers, not in our company, but in the industry. So I have a lot of respect. Without any further delay, please help me welcome on this virtual stage, Mr. Liju Thomas. Liju, over to you, brother.
Thank you so much, Asad. Just 1 second. Let me just take off the spotlight. Brilliant. Well, good evening, everybody. I was going to do a training on the 7 skills, but after listening very carefully to Asad's training, I don't think it's necessary anymore. For those of you who don't know Asad, I don't think you realize sometimes this is a gentleman who built hundreds of thousands of individuals for a company that paid 10% of what we pay in RIMAN. And sometimes my favorite book in the scripture says that a prophet is never honored in his own land. Sometimes you don't realize the value of the information that has been given to you. What you've been given in the last 40 minutes is literally billion-dollar advice. And eventually time will tell. So well done for being on this call. After what Asad has just trained, like I won't be able to even follow that up. It's that good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on what I was planning to do on Tuesday for our next training, because what he just go right now is gold. And when I heard it, it's a capsule of 12 years of sweat, blood, and tears. It's a capsule of millions and millions of pounds of income being generated that you've got in the next 40 minutes. I'm going to record this. I'm going to use this as a training tool because it's a secret of how you build a massive organization by creating the culture, by creating the right etiquette. It's the event etiquette of how you create a duplicable system. So I hope you really value what you just got. And if you really take it seriously, there's no stopping to as to what you can do. Tomorrow evening, I'm doing a K-pop up. There's 120 people. On Sunday evening, I'm going to be at, Asad and I are going to be at the Crown Plaza in London at 4 p.m. Invite your guests. On Tuesday, I'm going to cover the 7 skills of what makes this business really simple, of how we can accelerate really quick. But mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, what we are at the moment experiencing is history in the making. This is being recorded, so I will be able to refer back to this in a few years' time. History in the making. And if you're seeing this right now, it's simply history in the making. Thank you so much for taking your valuable time, the last 49 minutes on a Friday evening. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. I look forward to seeing you on our next training call. Thank you so much, Asad, for your phenomenal training. And have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful weekend. See you at the next training. Bye-bye.